Hello, welcome to VAD Inspires, and today I'm starting a new series called Our Changing World. And then we're going to discuss a series of ideas about how our world is rapidly changing and how we're moving towards the technology age, how we can make the most out of it, and how the old age principles still applies no matter where the direction of the world is moving. And today we're going to discuss the idea of making the most out of life, right? Especially here in America. Because in America, we have the highest standard of living that I've seen, that I haven't seen in other places or in other parts of the world. But yet, many people still end up poor. Or, after 40 years of working, have very little to show for it. And why is that? Now, that has a lot to do with bad decision making and has very little to do with circumstances. Am I denying that some people have extenuating circumstances? Yes. I'm not denying that. There are extenuating circumstances. And there are people who are, really having a hard time. But that's a very small percentage. A lot of people have the opportunity, they have the chance, but they still end up poor, broke, or don't have a lot to show for living in a country that has so many opportunities. And this is because of the way that we think, our principles of life. And if you are growing up and you didn't have someone to teach you this principle, and you could care less of, reaching out at your local library or watching an educational video to educate yourself, if you don't do all these kinds of things, then you're going to end up like the people around you. Because only very few percentage of people end up with the real success. And that's because a lot of people, either they give up or they don't care at all, or it's just a series of bad decisions that pile up on top of each other, and then it creates this mountain too big enough for you to overcome. Just take the idea of financial independence, right? This has nothing to do with the money you're paid, has very, very much to do with the money you save. A lot of people get their paychecks and they blow it. Right? You get a $500 paycheck maybe every 2 weeks, you blow it. You buy shoes, you buy clothes, you go party, you go out, and you don't think of tomorrow, you don't think of the future. And that's why 10 years after working, 20 years after working, you are still living from paycheck to paycheck because of poor financial planning. There's a lot of messages out there. That's a lot of information out there on how you can prioritize and save and make sure that you're not caught off guard when the rainy day comes. But who will reach out to grab the information? Who will reach out to grab the strategies? Who will reach out to get the information they need? The people who are willing to do that are very few. And why is that? The real reason nobody knows. Why wouldn't people just reach out and grab the information and have better their lives? And that's why we are both glad and sorry. We are glad we live in a country that has so many opportunities, but we are sorry because we're not taking advantage of it. We're not getting it. And it's time for us to wake up. It's time for me and you to wake up and reach out and grab this information and grab these resources that we have and start making the most out of it, so that we can benefit the full, reward of living in a country this rich. Because common sense is lacking. And we need to bring back common sense. We need to bring back the basics. When you get your paycheck, pay yourself first. You pay yourself first, and then everything else comes second. If you take out 10%, 5% of every paycheck that you make, if you calculate that in a 10-year run, you're looking at thousands of dollars. And I'm talking about if you make $11 an hour, right? And I used to work at Sam's. I made $11 an hour, and every 2 weeks, paycheck is around $400, $500. I saved 50% of every paycheck that I have. 50% when I used to work at Sam's. All my friends, there was a particular friend who was just bemused at how I could save so much and not be, tempted to use it. Because I'm going somewhere differently. I have a different vision. I have a different goal. And you gotta have a different goal. You gotta have a different vision for yourself and for your future. Whatever job you start with, whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. Try to save as much as you can. Cut your liabilities, increase your assets. Know the difference between a credit and a debit. So you won't be glad. You won't be sorry, excuse me. So you will be glad. You'll be part of the glad boat instead of the sorry boat. That's the wrong boat to be. So I hope this provides a lot of context, perspective, and value for you, because that's my hope and that's my intent. And thanks for stopping by, and stay inspired.